Hi, good evening, Madam Siti Maisara. Today, me and my group members would like to present the First Aid and Emergency Planning group assignment. Before that, I would like to introduce my group members such as Pavitran, Kishantri, Muhammad Afiq, and Muhammad Dini.
Hi, madam. So the contents will be introduction, sign and symptoms, prevention, first aid management, conclusion, and lastly, it will be reference.
So, so the introduction will be first aid in the workplace includes the provision of first aid facilities, service, and personnel required for the initial treatment of persons suffering from injury or illness at the workplace. So it means they prepare the first aid for people that are working at the for the injury or at the workplace. Second, first aid is emergency care given immediately to an injured person. It means if anything happened when working time, so they will give the first aid first before the ambulance reach. Third, first aid refer to the emergency or immediate care you should provide when a person is injured or until full medical treatment is available. The purpose of first aid is to minimize the injury, future disability. The aim of first aid are to preserve life, prevent illness or injury from becoming worse, reduce pain, promote recovery and care of unconscious. So it means they will give first aid before the people reach, so become the situation worse, so they will give such first aid first. The sign and symptoms for scenario 1. It's look like the ladder is suffering from altitude sickness. Breathing become difficult because you are not able to take in as much oxygen. Symptoms of altitude sickness usually develop between 6 and 24 hours after reaching altitudes more than 250 meters above sea level. The symptoms are usually worse at night. Symptoms of altitude sickness include such as headache, feeling and being sick, dizziness, tiredness, loss of appetite, shortness of breath, nausea, vomiting, fatigue and loss of energy, problems with sleep. Scenario 2. It's appeared that the man has fallen from the ladder. He is in obvious pain and his arm is likely broken with a piece of bone protruding from the skin. Fractures are usually caused by a fall blow or other traumatic event. Possible open wound either from the bone puncturing the skin or from the skin being cut during the injury. Sign and symptoms of scenario 2. Swelling or bruising over a bone, deformity of an arm or leg, pain in the injured area that get worse when the area is moved or pressure is applied, and inability to bear weight on the affected foot, ankle or leg. Loss of function in the injured area. In open fractures, bone protruding from the skin.
Hi, Madam. I'm Kishantri here. Now, I would like to present about prevention for scenario 1 and scenario 2. I will start with the scenario 1. Before moving into the points, I would like to give a short summary regarding the scenario 1. Altitude sickness describes several symptoms that happen to your body when you are exposed to a higher elevation within a short period of time. Altitude sickness is a common when people are traveling, either climbing or being transported to a higher elevation quickly. The higher you climb, the lower the air pressure and oxygen levels get. Our body can handle the shift, but they need some gradually adjust. Here are some things that you can prevent yourself from getting altitude sickness. The first one will be climb slowly. Your body needs about 2 or 3 days of climbing, going higher in order to adjust the changes. Avoid flying or driving directly to the higher altitudes. Instead, go up higher each day. Stop to rest and continue the next day. Moving on, the second will be eat carbs. When you are at higher altitude, you need more calories. So pack plenty of healthy snacks, including a lots of whole grains to eat during your journey. The third point will be drink water. When you are at a higher altitude, you need more calories. Sorry, madam. The third point will be drink water. Staying hydrated is also important in preventing altitude sickness. Drink water regularly during your climb. Moving on, avoid alcohol. Alcohol, cigarettes, and medications like sleeping pills can make altitude sickness symptoms worse. Avoid drinking, smoking, and taking sleeping pills during your trip to higher altitude. Moving on, take it easy. Climb at the space comfortable for you. Do not try to go fast or engage with exercise that too strenuous. The last point will be, before the last point will be sleep lower. Altitude sickness usually get worse at night when you are sleeping. It is good idea to sleep at a lower altitude while climb higher during the day. The last point will be medication. Usually, medication is not given ahead time unless flying or driving to a higher altitude is unavoidable. There are some evidence that taking Dimox 2 days before a trip during your trip can prevent gelosoma, but because sorry, I missed my point. Right, there are some evidence that taking Dimox 2 days before a trip and during your trip can help prevent altitude sickness. Moving on to the scenario 2. Here are 3 simple prevention for working more safely with ladders. Follow each of them every time you work with the ladder. First will be inspect the ladder before each time you use it. Always inspect a ladder before using it. Begin by checking the ladder's duty rating to see if it can support the weight of your body and your tool belt. Then inspect the ladder's fails, rugs, belt, spreaders and rocks for any signs of damage or defects. Second point will be position your ladder properly. It is very important to position your ladder properly before using it. For all ladders, always make sure the ladder is on the level, solid footing, and B, to position the ladder near your work so that you are not overreaching. The third will be use your ladder safely. Seems sensible enough, but sometimes people forget and don't know how to use ladder safely to avoid injuries and deaths. Using your ladder safely include things like maintaining 3 points of your contact with the ladder at all times, never standing on either on the top of 2 rugs or step ladder, never carrying tools or materials while climbing a ladder. Instead, use a rope to hold or hoist materials. Thank you, madam. Sorry for the mistakes.
Hi, madam. So for the first aid management for scenario 1, firstly, we must stop and rest immediately. And then secondly, we must not allow the guy to go any higher for at least 24 to 48 hours. If he has a headache, give the patient ibuprofen or paracetamol. And if he feels sick, give him an anti-sickness medicine such as promethazine, and make sure he drinks enough water. The next one is do not let him smoke, drink alcohol or exercise if he has any symptoms. Acetazolamide can be used to reduce the severity of your symptoms, but it will not completely get rid of them. Ask him how he feels, even if his symptoms are mild. There's a danger his judgments may not be clear. If he can continue going up with care, once he feels he have fully recovered. If he do not feel any better after 24 hours, go down by at least 500 meter. The next one is do not let him attempt to climb again until his symptoms have completely disappeared. The next one is after 2 to 3 days, his body should have adjusted to the altitude and his symptoms should disappear. And the last one is bring him to see a doctor if his symptoms do not improve or get worse. And for the scenario 2, for first aid management of scenario 2, firstly, cover the wound with a sterile dressing or a clean, non-fluffy cloth. Apply pressure around the wound and not over the protruding bone. to control any bleeding. Then secure the dressing with a bandage. It's advised the casualty to keep still while you support the injured part to stop it from moving. Do this by holding the joint above the below the injured area. Number 3 is place padding around the injury for extra support. Number 4 is once you done this, call for emergency help. Do not move the casualty until the injured part is secure, unless they are in immediately danger. You can secure an upper limb fracture with a sling and a lower limb fracture with a broad fold bandages. And the last one, if necessary, treat for shock but do not raise an injured leg. Monitor their breathing and level of response while waiting for help to arrive. Thank you.
As a conclusion, madam, we shall take injuries, even minor ones, very seriously so that we are able to understand what to do, say, when we're in a situation like this. On top of that, we can prevent incidents from happening if we take care of our well-being very seriously. Furthermore, we also need to learn how to deal with first aid equipment so we are well prepared in the future. That's all from us four, madam. Thank you very much.